Okay. Try us some more. That's, yeah. Oh, this one. That ain't so bad. If you can stay alive. Staying alive has been the big thing here lately.
Attack the enemy neighbor base from the specified directions. Awaiting instructions. Bullseye. Target penetrated. Enemy force detected. Target penetrated.
Let's do my second one. Lord God, I can't score for nothing, man.
Fighter returning to ship.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, I'm streaming. Never make it to it.
All stations, reporting the position of a strategic target.
Enemy battleship foundered.
Well,
Attention, main task complete. Retreat to the designated area.
up here and knock that shit out. That way I can, yeah. Try to get a better score anyway.
Activated.
That's
Reconnaissance reporting. The second enemy reinforcement party is approaching.
okay. Normally one comes through here. They are.
Bullseye.
Autopilot mode disabled. Set a smoke screen. The ship is on fire. Torpedo tubes destroyed. Problem solved, sir. Torpedo support. Torpedo support. Critical engine damage. The ship is on fire. Hull breach. We're taking on water quickly.
Enemy cruiser foundered.
I'm dead.
Fighter airborne.
Yep. Sure am.
Neptune's beard.
Oh, heck me, man. You and Neptune, bro.
Reconnaissance reporting.
I'd say it is time to bail her out. I'm just saying, you know. Oh, my Lord, man. Well, we still got a shitty score, you know. Ain't no need to sit in this, we'll just keep it going. I mean, really, no need to. Oh shit, this one really, man. You friggin' know it.
Fighter airborne. Awaiting instructions.
Oh.
Fighter returning to ship. Enemy force detected. Torpedoes, dead ahead.
Ayun sige na. Papapang papang papang. Ayun sige. Ayun sige na.
We've sunk an enemy destroyer.
Amba. Ayun na Ayun na. Halika na, baby.
Oh shit.
Sabi ko
It's
sa
a breach. We're taking on water.
Aman. At ay amaman. Sino ba yan? Sino ba yung batang maganda na yan? Hindi na ba yung baby na yan?
Problem solved, sir.
Hindi na ba yung baby maganda na yan? Ano kaya tatawin na
Fighter
tayo?
airborne.
Okay, okay na. I'll feed her.
Okay. Okay.
Arju, noisy girl. Ay, noisy girl. Noisy naman ang baby. Oo. Ang noisy naman ang baby girl. Halika. Ito, Lola. I'm not the Lola. I'm baby. My Lola.
Enemy battleship foundered.
Fighter airborne.
Tumawag si Papa. Ay! Wawa naman ang baby
Cock block on my torpedoes, bro.
Fire at your allies.
The ship is on fire!
You got your I'm gonna throw it out there. That's an idiotic move, dude.
Alien destroyer sighted. Problem solved, sir. Engine boost activated.
Enemy cruiser foundered. Extraction stations.
Awaiting instructions. Acknowledged. All stations, concentrate fire on the target. Enemy warship sighted. Autopilot mode disabled. Torpedoes, direct front. Torpedoes, direct front.
Battle ends in 5 minutes.
Autopilot mode enabled. Good luck and fair seas.
Action stations.
Good luck, everyone. Many thanks.
Awaiting instructions. Bullseye!
Autopilot mode disabled. The ship is on fire! Problem solved, sir!
Enemy heavily damaged.
Battle ends in 5 minutes. The enemy is about to win.
Hello? Why my fucking headset keeps turning off, man?
Autopilot mode enabled.
seconds.
Awaiting instructions.
Yep. Why not? You know, why not?
Spotter airborne. Enemy force detected.
Okay. Fucking terps.
Spotter destroyed. Torpedoes, direct front.
Oh hell, missed it, really, man? I mean, it does some crap.
Destination reached. Autopilot mode disabled.
Can't believe I missed it. I hit a test that time.
We've destroyed an enemy cruiser.
We're here below the waterline. We're flooding quickly. Problem solved, sir. Torpedoes to starboard.
Battle ends in 5 minutes.
Rick Dolphin. Well, dude he ain't gonna come out and fight, period, is he? He just, yeah. Damn. We about won anyway. I mean, unless it take an act of Congress, he's lost, man. Yeah, 18 frig with Essen, bro. How many have we got in a row here? We've got quite a, what, about 3 of them, ain't it? Yeah. We can use every bit of that shit, too, man. Especially at cold, bro. Well, let's go ahead and... oh, wait a minute. That's right. Where is it? We'll put that on her. We'll throw... yeah. Shit, man.
Between the federal government, states, and municipalities, hundreds of billions in taxpayer dollars have been spent adding electric buses to transit fleets across the U.S. in an effort to reduce carbon emissions. However, cities from coast to coast are grappling with broken-down e-buses that cannot be fixed, are too expensive to fix, or they've scrapped their electric fleets altogether. Officials in Asheville, North Carolina, recently
Says a
expressed
lot about
frustration
them
that 3 of the
electric
5
vehicles
e-buses the
down
city
there,
purchased for
man.
millions
Really.
in 2018 are now sitting idle due to a combination of software issues, mechanical problems, and an inability to obtain replacement parts. Earlier this month, the Denver Gazette reported 2 of the 4 e-buses Colorado Springs Mountain Metropolitan
I'm not
Transit
saying that
acquired
shit
in
ain't good, man.
2021
I'm
are
saying
not
they're
running.
doing
They
that
cost
too
$1.2
quick.
million apiece, mostly paid for by
That's
government grants.
way too
Part of
quick.
the problem is the manufacturer of the buses, Proterra, filed for Chapter 11 bankruptcy in August.
No
The company,
wonder, man.
founded in 2004, rose to become the largest e-bus company in the U.S., representing nearly 40% of the market prior to going belly up. The electric vehicle push runs out of power. Read on the Fox Business app. Energy Secretary Jennifer Granholm sat on Proterra's board until she joined the Biden administration, and President Biden touted the company while taking a virtual tour of the manufacturer in the spring of 2021. Granholm made $1.6 million selling her stock in the company shortly after, following criticisms that her holdings in the firm were a conflict of interest. Asheville's interim transportation director, Jessica Morris, told local outlet WLOS-TV it has been impossible to get parts since Proterra filed for bankruptcy last summer. However, Asheville and several other cities had problems with the company's buses long before then. In 2020, the Philadelphia Tribune reported SEPTA's entire $24 million fleet of Proterras had been pulled out of commission. A spokesperson for the transit agency would not get into the specifics of why the 25 buses, the third largest fleet of all-electric buses in the U.S. at the time, were put on ice, but suggested the issues might be covered under the manufacturer's warranty. EVs significantly less reliable than gas engine cars, Consumer Reports finds. Then in September 2021, the Daily Bulletin out of California reported that, as of August, Foothill Transit, based in West Covina and serving the San Gabriel Valley, parts of Los Angeles and Pomona Valley, had 13 idled battery electric buses out of 32 in its fleet. At one point, the agency indicated up to 67% of its electric buses were not operating during 2019 and 2020. The outlet noted San Joaquin Regional Transit District in Stockton, California, the Regional Transportation Commission of Washoe County in Reno, Nevada, and the Transit Authority of River City, TRC, in Louisville, Kentucky. We're also struggling with Proterra buses sitting idle. In November 2022, WDRB-TV reported that TARC's entire fleet of Proterra electric buses had not operated in 2 years. The outlet said $9 million had been shelled out for Louisville's e-buses. Last month, Austin, Texas-based KUT News reported the city's Capital Metro had entered into a $46 million deal with Proterra in 2020 for the company to build 40 buses. Cap Metro only has 6 of them in operation while they await another 17 that have been built, but are sitting in Proterra's South Carolina factory because chargers for them are not yet available. The outlet also pointed to a filing from attorneys representing Broward County, Florida, regarding Proterra's bankruptcy. The lawyers told the court Broward County purchased 42 buses from Proterra for $54 million, and the first batch only operated for an average of 600 miles before breaking down, while the second batch averaged 1,800. For comparison, the county's diesel buses average 4,500 between failures, the filing said. Ford dealership details struggle, with EV truck as concerns mount. Some of the cities that have taken multi-million-dollar losses on inoperable e-buses, including Asheville and Colorado Springs, have paused purchasing more all-electric transit vehicles for now, and are instead opting for adding hybrid models to their green fleets until EV technology improves. In the meantime, Proterra is poised to make a comeback. The company was split into 3 parts during bankruptcy, and its transit bus division was purchased earlier this month by Phoenix Motor Cars, a California-based manufacturer that primarily builds medium-duty electric vehicles like shuttle buses for airports. Jose Paul, Phoenix Motor Cars' chief revenue officer, told Fox Business in an interview that the company has taken ownership of really world-class technology in its acquisition of Prodera. He noted that EVs, like any new technology, have issues but are continuing to evolve and advance. When Henry Ford rolled out the Model T, it was not perfect, Paul pointed out, and says Prodera's buses have continued to improve with each generation. Paul acknowledged that some customers, like the city of Asheville, have had challenges with operating Pro-Era buses, particularly due to the inability to obtain parts since the bankruptcy. He said one of the first things Phoenix Motor Cars plans to do is to focus on restocking spare parts to make them available, explaining that some suppliers refused to sell to Pro-Era while it was under bankruptcy protection. Roughly 300 Pro-Era employees, some of whom have been with the company from its start, have agreed to stay on board with Phoenix. The new owner is currently working to identify what parts customers need and, if required, to provide service technicians to get inoperable vehicles fixed. It's been 8 days, and we've already made significant progress, Paul told Fox Business. We can now go out there and start ramping up on all fronts, be it honoring the backlog of orders which Pro-Era had, ramping up production. That's the immediate goal for us. So those are all things we're doing right now. Paul said Phoenix's hope is that a lot of the issues customers have faced due to Prodera's bankruptcy will be handled within the next 6 to 9 months. He emphasized, our goal is to take care of customers, every single customer. Original article source, electric buses are sitting and used in cities across the U.S. Here's why.
Victory is near.
Shit. Crap.
Owners are reeling after receiving exorbitant repair bills from body shops, some upwards of $40,000.
And it's not a cracked engine block or a blown transmission racking up the 5-figure estimates. It's small, everyday dents in the bumpers.
Here to explain why these repair cost so much and how to maybe avoid paying for them. Repair specialist Matt Boyette. Matt, great to see you. First, explain why just a simple fender bender is going to set you back potentially thousands of bucks on an EV.
Well, thank you for having me.
Hey.
First of all, the way that these cars are made nowadays, they're so intricately, the panels overlap. There's lots of parts that if you can't just change out one part, you have to change out this part that adjoins to it and the next part. A lot of times the parts are one-time use. It's not just a reusable item you can take off and put back on. They're disposable parts. We kind of live in a disposable society now where things are not made to be repaired. Microwaves, TVs, washer, dryers, you take it out, you get a new one, you don't fix it. We call ourselves one of the last craftsmen of the day. We actually take these panels that you see right here and we reform it, we reshape it back to its original pre-damage condition. We're saving the paint, we're saving replacing, we're saving having it put in a landfill, we're saving the customer time, we're saving them from a high stain on their Carfax. And so we're a superior option in a lot of cases to a traditional body shop.
Yeah, Matt, I'm hearing about this all the time with EVs. This is actually the first I've heard of body work, but anytime you get near the battery, you get in a situation where the decision might be you got to junk the whole thing because you can't repair it. Insurance companies are raising a stink about it. How much have you encountered this, Matt?
It happens quite a bit. There's another component to that is that you can't just buy these parts. So like Rivian, like Tesla, you can't just walk to a parts counter like you can at a Chevrolet dealership and buy a part. You have to go to either a certified repair center or you have to email Tesla in order to get something. And those are only really available to certified repair centers. And that makes it really hard for a normal body shop to repair it. So what we've done is we've got really creative with our repair process, and
The Wisconsin Supreme Court asked a state elections board Monday to respond this week to Democratic presidential candidate Dean Phillips's claim that he has been unlawfully left off the state's April 2nd primary ballot. The Wisconsin Elections Commission and the Wisconsin Presidential Preferential Election Committee, acting on the recommendation of the state Democratic Party leaders, listed President Biden as the only Democratic candidate for the state's primary after a meeting at the start of the year. The campaign of Phillips, a congressman from Minnesota, cried foul, accusing the state party of forcing him to spend about $300,000 to collect signatures through a separate process to acquire ballot access. Phillips filed a complaint last week that asked the state's Supreme Court to overrule his exclusion based on a provision of state election law that allows ballot access for candidates who are found to have been recognized as serious contenders by the news media. Phillips argued in his brief that the state elections board failed to make any determination of whether Phillips met this test, despite significant news coverage of his candidacy. Biden, Phillips appealed to SC voters, but Crowd has clear favorite. The Wisconsin Supreme Court asked Monday for the state board and any interested third parties to respond to Phillips's claims by Wednesday. A spokesperson for the Wisconsin Democratic Party declined to comment. A spokesperson for the Wisconsin Elections Commission, which by tradition accepts the recommendation of state party leaders for primary ballots, also declined to comment. Phillips, the only elected Democrat challenging Biden for the nomination, finished with about 20% of the vote in the New Hampshire Democratic primary, while Biden, who did not appear by name on the ballot, received 64% of the vote through a write-in campaign. Phillips has vowed to continue his primary campaign in South Carolina, which holds its Democratic primary on Saturday, and Michigan, which votes on February 27th. Phillips will not appear on the February 6th Nevada primary ballot because he missed the qualification date. The Democratic presidential campaign of author Marianne Williamson has also complained about being left off the state ballots. Jeff Weaver, a senior advisor to Phillips, said in an affidavit filed in the Wisconsin case that he had contacted state party chair Ben Wickler to discuss ballot access on December 2nd. Weaver said he later spoke with the executive director of the state party, Cassie Fenelai. Neither committed to adding Phillips's name to the ballot. I don't think anybody should be surprised about the way this process is working itself out. One Wisconsin party official
I don't know why
who
everybody's
spoke on the
surprised
commission
by
to
Biden's
describe the
fucking
process,
cheating again,
told
man.
the Post earlier this month. It has always been the case with an incumbent in office. Democrats in 4 states, Wisconsin, Florida, North Carolina, and Tennessee, have named only Biden as a candidate on their state primary ballots. Tennessee, North Carolina, and Wisconsin allow candidates to gain ballot access through a separate process of gathering petitions. The Phillips campaign has separately filed a complaint with the Democratic National Committee about the Florida Democratic Party's decision, which essentially canceled that state's Democratic primary.
Gangway! The ship be on fire! This battleship is so big, it can't hide from Popeye!
They might be winning, but do not worry.
That's a good little deal right there, dudes. Uh,
Yesterday, Captain Larry Taylor rescued 4 soldiers who were surrounded in the middle of the emotional speech today from America's newest Medal of Honor recipient. He watched the ceremony live here. You watched it here live on this story yesterday. Captain Larry Taylor rescued 4 soldiers who were surrounded in the middle of the night during the Vietnam War in a firefight. He landed his heavy enemy fire
and he
got
passed
all
away,
4 men
man.
safely out. Captain Taylor fought back tears as the Pentagon inducted him into the Hall of Heroes. Watch.
I've always dreamed one day having a medal of honor.
Bless his heart.
Today, that dream came true. People ask me about that night, you know, what possessed you to do that? Well, hell, it needed doing.
Needed doing. He dreamt of having a Medal of Honor put around his neck, which is what happened yesterday, which means he dreamed of being a hero, of saving other people's lives, of putting his life before their life. That was what he wanted to do. And one of the men he rescued said that the odds of his survival without Larry Taylor was, quote, absolutely 0. So those 4 lives went on to live the rest of their lives.
Thank you for your service, sir.
Larry Taylor. And we commend him, we thank him for his incredible service, and we congratulate him on his well-deserved Medal of Honor.
The most recent Medal of Honor recipient has
This
died.
is him,
The
dude.
Congressional Medal of Honor Society announced Monday afternoon. Larry L. Taylor, 81, passed away Sunday at his home in Signal Mountain, Tennessee, according to a press release. President Biden presented Taylor with the Medal of Honor for his actions near the village of AP Goetsom, Bin Duong Providence, Vietnam at the White House on September 5, 2023. In June of 1968, Taylor was a first lieutenant commander of a team of 2 Cobra helicopter gunships responding to an urgent call for support by a 4-man patrol team. Taylor and his wingmen targeted the enemy by encircling the patrol team and flying multiple low-level passes under intense enemy fire. Biden to award Medal of Honor to Vietnam pilot for heroic rescue, never been accomplished or even attempted. As the gunship's ammunition ran low, Taylor continued to make fake gun runs at low altitude to distract the enemy from the men on the ground. He observed that the patrol team's planned evacuation route was unviable, given the heavy fire they were still encountering, the Congressional Medal of Honor Society's release states. Taylor then landed his helicopter 100 yards away, still under intense enemy fire, to meet the patrol team on the ground. With the team climbing on board wherever they could, including seated on rocket pods and skids, Taylor was able to evacuate the entire patrol team, thereby saving their lives. Read on the Fox News app. Taylor flew hundreds of combat missions in UH-1 Huey helicopters and Cobra helicopters during a year's deployment in Vietnam and proudly told the Associated Press, "We never lost a man." Vietnam veteran's dog tag found in right hand, returned to family 57 years later, means the world. I finally just flew up behind them and sat down on the Seattle, AP, facing severe criticism after a door plug blew out on a 737 MAX over Oregon this month. Boeing said Monday that it is withdrawing a request for a safety exemption needed to certify a new model of the plane. The company asked federal regulators late last year to allow it to begin delivering its 737 MAX 7 airliner to customers, even though it does not meet a safety standard designed to prevent part of the engine housing from overheating and breaking off during flight. But after a door panel blew out on a different version of the plane, the MAX 9, leaving a gaping hole in the fuselage of an Alaska Airlines flight out of Portland, Oregon, on January 5th. The company's quality control and commitment to safety have been questioned. Last week, Democratic Senators Maria Cantwell, chair of the Senate Committee on Commerce, Science, and Transportation, and Tammy Duckworth, chair of its Aviation Safety Subcommittee, urged the Federal Aviation Administration to deny the request. Boeing said Monday it would withdraw it. While Boeing never should have sought this exemption to put another new aircraft with a known safety defect into service in the first place, I'm both relieved and appreciative that they are putting the flying public's safety first by withdrawing this petition, Duckworth of Illinois said in an emailed statement. I hope this decision marks the beginning of a turnaround in Boeing's safety culture. In its announcement, the company said it was committed to being transparent, listening to all our stakeholders, and taking action to strengthen safety and quality at Boeing. The safety standard concerns an anti-icing system, and the issue affects other models of the 737 MAX that are already flying. Federal officials said last year that Boeing was working to fix the hazard on current MAX planes. And in the meantime, regulators urged pilots to limit the de-icing system's use in dry conditions because inlets around the engines could get too hot and parts of the housing could break away and strike the plane, possibly breaking windows and causing rapid decompression. The issue affects only the MAX because it has engine inlets made from carbon composite materials rather than metal. The company had hoped to be able to deliver its new, smaller MAX 7 to customers and have pilots operate the model under the guidance given to MAX 8 and MAX 9 pilots. It asked for an exemption until May 2026 while it worked on a long-term fix. In its statement, Boeing said that while it believed the exemption request followed established FAA processes to ensure safe operation, the company will instead incorporate an engineering solution that will be completed during the certification process. This is good news, Cantwell said in an emailed statement Monday night. I hope this means they can quickly develop a compliant design across other MAX planes. The FAA grounded all MAX 9s in the U.S. the day after the blowout. Last week, the agency approved the inspection and maintenance process to return the planes to flying, and Alaska and United Airlines, the only two U.S. airlines that fly MAX 9s, began returning some to service in the last few days. Southwest Airlines, the main customer for the MAX 7, reported last week that it had removed the model from its fleet plans for 2024 while Boeing works with the FAA to certify it. The FAA said last year that it had not received any reports of the overheating problem happening on MAX flights, but that it issued the warning to pilots because of the severity of the risk, which was discovered on a test flight. The 737 MAX went into service in May 2017. Two of the planes crashed in 2018 and 2019, killing 346 people. All MAX jets were grounded worldwide for nearly 2 years while the company made changes to an automated flight control system that pushed the nose down based on faulty sensor readings. More recently, MAX deliveries have been interrupted to fix manufacturing flaws, and last month the company told airlines to inspect the planes for a possible loose bolt in the rudder control system. Boeing Commercial Airplanes President and CEO Stan Deal said in a message to Boeing employees Friday that the company's most immediate goal is to help airlines restore operations. Frankly, we have disappointed and let them down, he wrote. We are deeply sorry for the significant disruption and frustration for our customers, some of whom have been publicly and unfairly criticized.
P.S.
Authorities say they have arrested 5 suspects after 6 people were found shot to death last week in a desert community in San Bernardino County, California. At a press conference Monday night, Authorities said multiple search warrants were served on Sunday in the case. 5 suspects, whom authorities identified as Toniel Baez Duarte, Mateo Baez Duarte, Jose Nicolas Hernandez Sarabia, Jose Gregorio Hernandez Sarabia, and Jose Manuel Burgos Parra, were arrested, San Bernardino County Sheriff's officials said. All suspects are being held without bail. 8 guns were recovered during the arrests, authorities said Monday night. More. Pentagon identifies Army reservists killed in drone attack on U.S. base in Jordan. Following an investigation, investigators believe the victims had arranged to meet for a marijuana transaction, San Bernardino County Sheriff's officials said. The victims appear to have been involved in criminal activity, authorities said Monday night. The victims were shot to death, and 4 of the 6 bodies were burned, according to officials. Only 3 of the victims have been identified by authorities: Baldemar Mondragon Albaran, Franklin Noel Bonilla, and Kevin Dariel Bonilla. An official said there is a large, illegally grown marijuana problem in the area. Last Tuesday night, Sheriff's Dispatch received a 911 call around 8:16 p.m. Pacific Time from Franklin Noel Bonilla, who said he had been shot, authorities said Monday. He was unable to give his location. Authorities were able to determine the call came from the area of Lessing Avenue and Shadow Mountain Road in Adelanto, California. Sheriff's personnel responded and found 5 dead. A short while later, the caller, Bonilla, was also found deceased nearby. More. Jean Carroll says she plans to use $83 million on something Donald Trump hates. The FBI and Bureau of Alcohol, Tobacco, Firearms and Explosives had offered assistance to the San Bernardino County Sheriff's Department in the investigation into the bodies found in the desert about 50 miles outside of Los Angeles, but local investigators are handling the case themselves. A blue Chevy SUV was also seen riddled with bullet holes in the area where some of the bodies were found. A Connecticut school district is facing backlash after deciding to strip Veterans and Columbus Days from its official holiday calendar in a controversial vote by the school board last week. Students at Stamford Public Schools will no longer get the day off on both holidays for the next 2 school years after the board voted 5-3 to remove them on Tuesday night, the Stamford Advocate reported. Board member Joshua Esses made a motion to wipe the holidays from the school calendar at Tuesday's meeting, arguing that the school year cut too far into the summer, ending in mid-June. "We should make it shorter because it's better educationally for our students," Esses said of the school year, which is required by state law to have at least 180 teaching days for students, according to the local newspaper. He also suggested cutting the religious holidays Eid al-Fitr and the second day of Rosh Hashanah from the list of official holidays with the same justification, but that motion received no support, the outlet reported. Esses noted that Veterans Day and Columbus Day would instead be recognized and celebrated with lesson plans about the meaning of each on the day of, a state requirement. Still, the board's decision, which was discussed at another meeting earlier this month when brought up by a different member, garnered outrage from veterans and Italian Americans. Veteran Alfred Fusco, a founding member of the Stamford chapter of the Italian American service organization Unico, told ABC7 that the school district's announcement was a double whammy. Alfred Fusco, a veteran and founding member of Stamford's chapter of the Italian American service organization Unico, told the outlet the move was a gut punch to him. ABC7 Newark A. Stamford, Connecticut School Board ignited a calendar controversy after voting to remove the Veterans Day and Columbus Day holidays. City of Stamford. It was a gut punch. It was terrible. It had no inclination, Fusco told the station. The school district defended its decision when reached by the Post, noting that other districts in the state already keep schools open on the 2 holidays. Stanford Public Schools already hosts many events in recognition of our local veterans, and we look forward to continuing that tradition on Veterans Day in 2024 and 2025, a spokesperson for Stanford Public Schools said in a statement. In addition, our teaching and learning department will be working to develop programming about Columbus Day that will be presented to students in recognition of that federal holiday. A large part of the debate focused on the particular role of Columbus Day, which has been rejected by some Americans in recent years in favor of Indigenous Peoples Day due to the sordid history surrounding Italian explorer Christopher Columbus' treatment of Native peoples. One board member cited the length of the 181-day school year that would last into mid-June, arguing that the schedule is too long. ABC 7 New York Versha Munshi South said she observed a class lesson titled Columbus, Hero or Villain, at Dolan Middle School, which made her rethink the holiday. Universal Images Group via Getty Images. The other board member, Versha Munshi South, said she observed a class lesson titled Columbus, Hero or Villain, at Dolan Middle School, which made her rethink the holiday. The students were using primary sources to investigate the true history of Columbus, and I can tell you that based on primary source research, no, they did not conclude that Columbus was a hero, Munshi South said, according to The Advocate. I don't think it makes sense to teach students one thing in class and then have Columbus Day off. It's a mixed message for students, she said. Another member of the school board, however, said that she saw Columbus as a hero and thought polarization on the issue should not inform their decision. There's a lot of polarization with curriculums, so to paint Columbus as a villain is because of the polarization, and I think we can't be doing that publicly, Becky Hammond said. The outlet reported. On Tuesday, January 23rd, the Stanford BOE approved the 2024-25 and 2025-26 Stanford Public Schools calendars following passage of a motion to have schools remain open on Columbus Day and Veterans Day. A spokesperson for Stanford Public Schools said in a statement. Several neighboring districts already keep schools open on Columbus Day and/or Veterans Day, and both Columbus Day and Veterans Day will be acknowledged on the Stanford Public Schools calendar with other holidays and religious observances that occur when school is in session.
Team has taken the lead. The ship is on fire! Main turret critically damaged!
Well, that sucks. Got me blowed out of hell. Punk ass.
A NATO chief urged leaders they have 3 years to prepare for Russian missile strikes in Europe and warned of the red tape that controls Europe's military response time. As fears of a world war snowball, senior NATO generals have flagged a waning window of time between now and a possible Russian assault on Europe. Lieutenant General Alexander Salfrank, is commander of NATO's Military Logistics Center in southwest Germany. Saul Frank's concern is, although Russian facilities are currently in full use in Ukraine, that their next move will see a direct attack on civilian and military assets deep beyond the front lines in an effort to cripple Allied resources. And time is ticking to anticipate what this attack may look like. This concern originates from tactics used by Russia and Ukraine in today's conflict, where both sides have targeted fuel and munitions bases far away from forces in combat, deep into enemy territory. Saul Frank and other German generals fear that Europe needs to streamline its method of responding to this now. Saul Frank told The Times that Germany is seen as the turntable for NATO's supply lines and a vital source of manpower, thus is a likely target for Russian airstrikes. Read more. Trump an outrageous claim about Iran drone attack that killed 3 U.S. troops. Saul Frank said the headquarters of NATO's Joint Support and Enablement Command, JCC, in Ulm, if we compare war and operations 10 years ago or 5 years ago, then we realize that we have to accept that also the rear areas will be severely contested. We have to assume that an aggressor will use the whole spectrum of kinetic and non-kinetic force in order to destroy lines of communication, also in the rear area. That ranges from acts of sabotage through electronic warfare and cyber to kinetic possibilities through missiles, drones, and so on. Join the Mirror's SMS news service to get the biggest breaking stories delivered straight to your phone. Click here to subscribe. Brigadier General Ronald Reagan, Chief of the U.S. Army's 21st Theater Sustainment Command. Any school teacher or parent will give the same advice to a child who is being harassed by a bully. Stand up to him and he will back down. There may be no bigger, more infamous bully in modern military history than the Führer, who led Germany into a global war in the late 1930s that left the country's economy in ruin and its people mired in shame. Standing up to the man was neither wise nor easy. He would brook no dissent from his generals and colonels, no matter how high their rank. The entire German army lived in fear of disagreeing with his opinions or military tactics. Anyone who dared disagree with him suffered immediate and serious consequences. As such, his subordinates didn't argue with him. Sure, they may have entertained subversive thoughts, but speaking them out loud was something else. Maybe it was the uniform he wore. Perhaps it was his long and distinguished military service record. Maybe he just caught the Führer on a calm day. Whatever the reason may have been, when General Dietrich von Sachen stood up to Germany's leader, insulted him, really, he didn't end up dead or in a forced labor camp. Dietrich von Sachen brought his cavalry sword to a meeting. It was in the winter of 1945, and many within the German military knew the country was losing the war, except the Führer, it seemed. Dietrich von Sachen had already pushed his luck by announcing he felt the conflict was lost and that continuing to fight was pointless. For that remark, he was fired, but reinstated 4 weeks later because he was a skilled, experienced soldier and Germany was rapidly running out of such men. Von Sachen was East Prussian, a career soldier who served his nation throughout both the First and Second World Wars. On that cold, February day in 1945, the Führer called him into the war room and told him to protect East Prussia from the Red Army, no matter the cost. To everyone's alarm, von Sachen arrived wearing his cavalry sword, which was forbidden in the German leader's presence. To the storied general, the weapon represented the years he devoted to his country and the military. He wasn't going to abandon his uniform, not even for the Führer. Luckily for von Sachen, he failed to notice, pushing his luck with the Führer. Witnesses to this historic meeting say that not only did Dietrich von Sachen wear things that would typically offend the Führer, his tone of voice was also dripping with disdain, another offense for which he could have wound up in a forced labor camp or worse. Men had been executed for far less. Firstly, he offered the German leader a military salute, not the salute demanded of everyone around him. Incredibly, he, again, seemed not to notice. When the Führer told von Sachen that East Prussia must be defended, he added that the general would answer to local loyalist Gauleiter Albert Forster. It was at that moment von Sachen dropped all pretense of listening to these orders. The idea that he would answer to some low-ranking, local, and anonymous individual infuriated von Sachen, and he slammed his hand down on the table between him and the Führer. Only with this gesture, finally, did he get the German leader's full attention. "I have no intention of taking orders from a Gauleiter," von Sachen thundered. At this point, perhaps the East Prussian general was past the point of caring about the reaction his remarks would provoke. He recklessly flouted the Führer's order and referred to him as Herr, rather than the honorific Mein, by which all in the country were supposed to address him. The entire room sat in stunned silence, waiting to see how the German leader would react. To everyone's surprise, he responded, "All right, Sachen, have command of it yourself." Dietrich von Sachen becomes a prisoner of the Red Army. Dietrich von Sachen took command and stayed with his men until the war's bitter end a few months later. He had a number of chances to leave, but each time sent wounded men instead. This meant that he was, ultimately, captured by the Russians and spent 10 years in prison. When von Sachen was released, he was in a wheelchair due to the torture and hard labor he'd endured. He retired to Bavaria, where took up painting. More from us, Italo Balba, the mastermind behind Mussolini's Air Force, died a strange death. The German general's case poses an interesting question. What might have happened had more officers stood their ground when the Führer ordered something they knew was wrong? Would certain atrocities have been avoided? It's impossible to know. One thing is certain, however, standing up to bullies is sometimes painful in the short term, but can have a profound effect on one's life in the long term, and it can sometimes alter the course of an entire nation. Joe Biden has been warned of the potential for a chilling nuclear escalation over attacking Iran after 3 U.S. troops were killed by a kamikaze drone strike in northeast Jordan. Ex-UN Weapons Inspector David Albright said Tehran could be led into thinking that building nuclear warheads is their best way out, if targeted directly by the U.S. in retaliation. Tehran has denied involvement in a strike, with the U.S. blaming the attack near the Syrian border on radical Iranian-backed militant groups. Over 30 people were also reportedly injured when it struck near a shelter where some troops were sleeping, according to U.S. officials. Read more. U.S. plans to hit back with more force after Iran-backed drone strike. For all the latest on news, politics, sports, and showbiz from the USA, go to Daily Express US link. Click here to follow Daily Express US and Global News to stay up to date with all the latest US, showbiz, and sports news. President Joe Biden vowed the US would respond, and that officials are working to establish what happened. Albright agreed it was important for the US to send a clear message by targeting the militants who carried out the deadly attack, but urged Biden not to order any direct strikes on Iran and risk inflaming a wider conflict. You certainly don't want to attack Iran now by any means, but you do need to retaliate, Albright told them. Certainly, any retaliation should be directed at the group, with a message to Iran: control your proxies. One of the reasons to do that is you don't want Iran to feel it's being backed into a corner where it feels that building nuclear weapons is its best way out. Iran has quite a nuclear weapons capability that they've put together over the last 20-something years. The attack marks the first time that a strike has claimed the lives of U.S. troops in the region since Hamas' attack on Israel on October 7th. Previous attacks have occurred on American bases in the region, but no fatalities had been recorded until Sunday's strike, the U.S. military said. Don't miss. Iran could make 12 nukes in just 5 months with 2 uranium stores exposed, report. Iran raises air defenses to a state. Moments, Illinois. A 14-year-old girl from Illinois, Amari Crite, died suddenly during a junior varsity basketball game on Thursday, January 25th. The Moments high school freshman collapsed on the court and was pronounced dead at the hospital. The cause of death is still under investigation by the coroner's office. Family and friends remember Amari as a joyful and obedient girl. Amari's family and friends are grieving the loss of their precious baby girl, who is full of life and laughter. Her mother, Michelle Crite, posted a picture of her daughter with the caption, "My baby." Her father, Anthony W. Crite Sr., also shared videos and photos of Amari on social media. In one of them, Amari makes silly faces as her father asks her to say something. She replies, "Alya," while smiling. In another post, he wrote, "So this young man was turned down by his Valentine, so his mom told him to ask the prettiest girl on the volleyball team. He chose Amari." A friend of Amari, Mary Williams, described how Amari taught her a life lesson. She said Amari was always one of the first to run and get in line when the bell rang at a summer camp. However, one day, most of the campers continued playing and didn't come to line up, despite being called. Not caring about doing the right thing, they selfishly continued doing what they wanted to, she recalled. After waiting patiently for quite a few minutes, Amari, who hardly ever raised her voice, yelled out to them, "Just obey already. It's not that hard," she continued. Williams further added, "Ever since that day, whenever I am faced with a choice to obey God or to selfishly go my own way and do what I want to do, I hear Amari's voice in my head. Just obey already. It's not that hard." School and community offer support and condolences to Amari Crite's family. The school district and the local authorities expressed their sorrow and sympathy for Amari's family and friends. Shannon Anderson, the superintendent of the school district in Moments, south of Chicago, released a statement on Friday morning, January 26th, according to the New York Post. "We are deeply saddened to confirm the heartbreaking news of the passing of one of our 9th grade students," he wrote, adding, "Our thoughts and condolences go out to the family and friends affected by this tragic loss." He also said that mental health counselors will be available to assist those who may be grappling with the emotional impact of this tragedy. He thanked the neighboring districts and the mental health and grief counseling providers in the Kankakee County area for volunteering their services. The Kankakee County Sheriff's Office also shared its condolences on Facebook. The Kankakee County Sheriff's Office stands with the Moments School District during this difficult time. "Friends, family, and classmates are all in our prayers," the Sheriff's Office wrote. A GoFundMe page was set up to help with the funeral expenses of Amari Crite. A GoFundMe page created by Amari's family has raised more than $47,000 as of Monday morning, January 29th. The family is asking for donations to help them give Amari the proper homegoing she deserves. As not all of you may know, our precious baby girl passed away last night, January 25th, when she collapsed at her basketball game, Michelle Crite wrote on the fundraiser. She added, "We are asking for any and everyone to help us give her the proper homegoing she deserves."
bro, you've
Battle ends in 5 minutes.
about got him. Dude ain't worth a fuck, bro. Help me. That sucks. That's gonna be the first one I've lost, man. That really sucks, bro.
Water levels at Lake Shasta have climbed significantly over the past 10 days, spurring hopes that California's largest reservoir could hit a milestone it hasn't seen for 7 years: dam spillover. After years of drought, the lake's water levels reached near capacity last year following an abnormally wet winter. Water levels steadily declined throughout the fall, but have since started to rise again after a series of atmospheric rivers dumped excessive rain in the area. The levels have risen 12 feet since January 19th and might continue to climb this week after another storm arrives on Wednesday. Despite the lake's recovery, officials haven't needed to open the dam spillway since 2017. Now, at just over 1,028 feet, Lake Shasta's water levels are more than 40 feet higher than this time last year. However, the last measurement was taken on January 24th, meaning the water levels could be even higher as of Monday. Lake levels peaked last year at 1,064 feet in late May, 3 feet below full pool, before beginning a steady decline throughout the summer. Levels began slowly rising again in December before they experienced the steep jump in the last few weeks. If the lake rises by another 39 feet, it will reach full capacity. The gates at Shasta Dam have been raised to prevent any spillover, and U.S. Bureau of Reclamation, USBR, officials don't expect the spillway to be breached, KRCRTV reported. We still have room in the reservoir for flood control, Don Bader, USBR area manager, said in the report. So we still have another 10 feet of room that we can have more storms come in before we would start flood operations. USBR spokesperson Mary Lee Garrison Connect told Newsweek that beginning on Tuesday, the USBR will increase releases at Shasta and its regulating reservoir for storage management. Bader said he is being conservative with any speculation about how much the water levels will rise because precipitation isn't consistent in the winter, even though the lake looks good right now. However, others cling to hope that the lake will keep rising. Lake Shasta 3/4 full. Confidence builds that reservoir will fill up this year, a social media user posted on X, formerly Twitter, on Thursday. The water level in the lake is up 12 foot in just over a week, bringing it under 10, from where officials will start increasing flows from the dam. The incoming atmospheric river is expected to hit northwestern California by midweek and move down the coast throughout the rest of the week. Forecasts predict that there will be widespread rain of at least 1 inch in much of California, but predictions are still uncertain given that the storm won't arrive until Wednesday. Related articles. How California reservoir water levels changed after atmospheric rivers. How the snow drought will impact California reservoirs. 8 cities about to get hit hardest with days of rain. Start your unlimited Newsweek trial.
You're so good to be true.
Huh? About time. About time. We got both of them, all but that one. Hang on there, bros. I'll be back here in a moment.